Chosen One, November 3rd. Your big rise. Listen. A shift in the atmosphere is taking place. So quietly it may seem unnoticeable to those who aren't aligned, but so powerful that it's already rewriting your future. You, Chosen One, are at the edge of your big rise. This moment isn't simply about elevation. It's about recognition. It's about alignment. It's about God revealing the path He prepared for you long before the world even knew your name. November 3rd is not just a date. It is a prophetic checkpoint stamped by divine authority. The events unfolding around you are not random. They are synchronized with the heavenlies, perfectly orchestrated to ignite the rise that could no longer be postponed. Watch this video until the end, because every word, every sentence has been prepared to awaken something ancient and powerful in you. And in the comments, write your warmest wishes and write the number 777. This is a vibration of alignment and overflow. It's more than interaction. It's participation in a surge of energy where wishes transform into form and faith becomes financial reality. Now, Chosen One, press the hype button and like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. This is not the beginning of your story, but it is the beginning of your undeniable rise. The season of being hidden is ending. The delay has expired. Heaven has been watching, and earth is about to echo what the Spirit already declared. The rise of the one chosen by God cannot be stopped. Everything that tried to bury you only confirmed that you carry something sacred, something too rare to be wasted, too valuable to be overlooked, too divine to remain silent any longer. November 3rd is not here to suggest that change is near. It is here to deliver it. You've been prepared through pressure, shaped by silence, and refined by the fire of isolation. But today, the curtain is lifting. There is something God placed inside of you that refuses to die, even when everything around you said it should. That's how you know this rise is not fueled by ego. It's fueled by destiny. You didn't ask to be chosen, but you were marked. And that mark cannot be erased by doubt, opposition, or delay. This rise isn't about popularity. It's about purpose. It's not for applause. It's for assignment. And it's happening whether the world is ready or not. God has already released the signal in the spiritual realm. Angels have been activated. Contracts have been signed in the invisible. Alignments are being expedited. You're not rising because you tried harder. You're rising because it's time. And divine time answers to no man. It answers only to God's command. The strange tension you've been feeling lately, the restlessness, the dreams, the push to prepare, it was confirmation. Something inside you already knew. You weren't just waiting. You were being positioned. The setbacks weren't punishment. They were divine adjustments. God was rerouting the chaos so your rise would be uninterrupted. He was clearing the airwaves so when you take flight, there will be no confusion about where the wind is coming from. The world will try to explain it with logic. Some will say, "You got lucky." Others will assume you made a deal somewhere. But deep down, you'll know, this rise has nothing to do with luck. It has everything to do with obedience, alignment, timing, and the divine word God whispered over your life when you were still in the shadows. The world sees your glow now, but God saw your growth when no one else was looking. He saw the nights of silence. He heard the prayers you never posted. He counted the tears you never explained. and He remembers. This is the season of remembering, not your memory, but God's. He remembers the promise. He remembers the covenant. And that's why your rise is different. It's not just for elevation, it's for manifestation. What was spoken over you in secret will now be seen by many. The crown is visible, the light is undeniable, and the moment has come. November 3rd carries the weight of fulfillment. There's an acceleration in the air. The time that seemed lost is returning with interest. The seeds you planted in faith are bursting through the ground. The ideas you were once mocked for are now being requested. The doors that were sealed are not just opening, they are swinging wide with divine force. And you, chosen one, are being ushered in, not by man, but by mandate. God is moving resources. He is aligning people. He is stirring the hearts of those who have what you need, and they don't even know why they're thinking about you. But they will know soon. Because God is spotlighting your name in rooms you haven't entered yet. And once you arrive, there will be no need to prove yourself. Your presence will announce your purpose. Your atmosphere will confirm your anointing. You were never forgotten. You were reserved. You were never denied. You were delayed for refinement. And now, the version of you that the world will see is the one God prepared in private, not broken, not bitter, not desperate, but whole, sharp, focused, and carrying heaven's assignment like fire in your bones. Your rise will confuse the predictable. It will disrupt the comfortable. It will shake the small-minded, because it's not coming in a way they can control. God is not asking permission. He is executing plans. He is honoring your obedience with outcomes. Your faith has triggered favor. Your isolation has activated inheritance. And your trust has unlocked territory. This is a rise that cannot be explained. It can only be witnessed. You didn't come this far to remain unnoticed. The atmosphere you carry has been calling out to the right opportunities, the right people, the right moments. And now, they're answering back. What's about to happen is beyond anything you could have strategized. It is not coming from the hand of a system. It is not being funneled through the logic of man. This is divine release. A rise that was written into your story before your first breath. And now, on November 3rd, that part of the script is unfolding in real time. The hidden layers of your preparation are now radiating through your words, your actions, your presence. That spiritual authority you developed while everyone else was distracted, that is what's lifting you now. You didn't rehearse for this in public. You were molded in silence. And now the silence is breaking. Not with noise, but with evidence. Evidence that God has been working behind the scenes on your behalf. Evidence that you are not just gifted, you are graced. You are not just skilled, you are sealed. And what God seals, no one can sabotage. They didn't expect it. They didn't see it coming. But that's the beauty of being chosen. You don't need validation, you need activation. And the activator has spoken. Heaven has authorized your rise, and the earth must respond accordingly. That's why the pieces are aligning so quickly. That's why what once took years is now being accomplished in days. The resistance you faced was a reflection of how powerful your release was going to be. But that resistance has now become irrelevant, because God is not consulting your past to determine your rise. He's consulting your purpose. And your purpose has no expiration date. There's a sound in the spirit that only the chosen can hear. A pulse, a signal, a calling. And you've been hearing it more clearly lately. That's not your imagination. That's confirmation. Something within you is syncing with the divine schedule. You can feel the urgency, the clarity, the divine pulse telling you, it's time. You're not just sensing change, you're carrying it. You are the evidence that God is doing a new thing, not just for you, but through you. The old version of you would have questioned this, but the renewed version of you is ready to embrace it. There's no need for convincing. There's no room for doubt. When God moves this clearly, all you need to do is show up in alignment. And you are aligned. Even when it felt like you were off track, the truth is, you were being rerouted to this very moment. The detours were necessary. The delays were part of the choreography. Because God didn't want you to just rise. He wanted you to rise right. Your rise is personal to heaven. It's not just about status. It's about stewardship. God is entrusting you with visibility, not to inflate your ego, but to amplify His message. That's why you're being elevated now, not when you were desperate, but now that you're discerning. Now that you know your worth isn't in the applause, but in the assignment. Now that you've proven you can carry weight without wavering. This rise is also going to expose some things, not to hurt you, but to protect what's next. There are people, patterns, and places that were never meant to accompany you into this next chapter. And part of the rise is God gently, and sometimes forcefully, removing what would contaminate your next level. You may feel the shift as loss, but it's actually divine subtraction for supernatural multiplication. Don't fear the fallout. It's part of the formula. You are stepping into rooms where your name preceded you, into moments that your spirit has been rehearsing for in silence, into favor that doesn't make sense. You'll sit at tables you never applied for, receive invitations you never expected, and carry influence that didn't come from a platform, but from a promise. That's what sets this rise apart. It's prophetic, not performative. It's spiritual, not superficial. There will be whispers. Let them whisper. There will be questions. Let them question. Because when God is the one raising you, explanations are irrelevant. The results will speak. The transformation will speak. And your very presence will carry the aroma of breakthrough. November 3rd is more than a rise. It's a reveal. It's the day when what's been stored up is finally sent out. The spiritual treasury assigned to your life is being opened. Not because of begging, not because of striving, but because of divine right. Because heaven decided it's time. Because you've reached the frequency of fulfillment. And now everything that was held back is catching up to you. The floodgates are opening, not in drops, but in waves. Get ready to be surrounded by what used to be delayed. Conversations, confirmations, opportunities, all arriving at once. You'll know this isn't coincidence. You'll know this is orchestration. The pattern of God's fingerprints will be unmistakable. The synchronicities will be undeniable. And the only thing left to do is rise. You've already crossed a threshold that most people never recognize. The inner shift. Before the outer rise ever becomes visible, the internal rising must first take place. And that's what already happened in you. The way you think, the way you pray, the way you perceive the future. It changed, quietly, gradually, supernaturally. That's why what's about to happen externally isn't coming to shock you. It's coming to shock them. Because while they saw you as still, God saw you in motion. While they labeled you stuck, God saw you in development. And now, the unveiling is near. There is a moment in every chosen one's life when God decides to reveal what He hid for so long. He didn't hide you because you weren't worthy. He hid you because you were sacred. Sacred things are never exposed until the environment is purified. Now that the environment has shifted, the rise can be revealed. You are not rising in a toxic atmosphere. You are rising in a divinely engineered one. The spiritual climate has cleared. The prophetic winds are blowing in your direction. The ground beneath you has been made stable. And now the instruction from heaven is simple. Step into it. This is not just the rise of a person, it's the rise of an assignment, the rise of an era. You are carrying something that will affect lives beyond your own. That's why the warfare was so intense. That's why the enemy tried to take you out in seasons when you had nothing. It wasn't about what you had. It was about what you carry. That holy cargo, that unseen power, that dormant brilliance, that divine code in your spirit that can't be replicated. And now, it's activated. There are territories assigned to your voice. There are destinies linked to your presence. You are not just walking into your moment. You are pulling others into theirs. This is why the rise must happen now. Because there are people waiting to see someone like you walk fully in purpose, so they know they can too. You are the blueprint, the living example, the confirmation that the promise is real, that it's possible, that obedience is not in vain. You'll start to see the signs everywhere: unusual favor, fast-tracked processes, sudden shifts in atmosphere, people calling you out of nowhere, saying, "You came to mind," emails showing up with offers you never chased, encounters that feel so perfectly timed, you'll know they were sent by God. Because they were. This isn't luck. This isn't random. This is what divine orchestration looks like when it breaks into the natural realm. You are in that moment now. The rise will not be subtle. It will be undeniable. But it will be graceful. It will not come with noise, but it will come with weight. Not the weight of burden, the weight of glory, the weight of spiritual authority, the kind that shifts rooms when you enter, the kind that realigns people's vision just by watching your movement. That's what's rising in you. And it's not a trend. It's a divine appointment. God is handing you the keys to access what was once denied, keys to unlock what's been locked for generations, keys to step into new economies, new regions, new realms, not because you forced your way in, but because you aligned, you waited, you listened. And now, heaven is opening what man could never fabricate. It's the rise of legitimacy, the rise of anointing, the rise of purpose-filled prosperity. Not just wealth for show, but wealth for impact. You'll find yourself walking differently, not out of pride, but out of presence. That presence of knowing who you are and whose you are. That calm assurance that comes from being backed by heaven. The kind of confidence that doesn't need noise to feel secure. You'll look in the mirror and recognize the reflection, not because your face changed, but because your spirit finally aligned with the divine image God placed in you from the beginning. And it's magnificent. You were called to rise, not just for applause, but for alignment. To be in your right place, at the right time, with the right power. And now, time is catching up with what God already finished in the Spirit. You're not late. You're not early. You're perfectly timed. That's the beauty of divine rise. It always arrives on time, even when it feels delayed. So when the calls come in, answer boldly. When the spotlight turns, stand rooted. When the promotion hits, walk humbly, but never shrink. This is not the time to question your worth. This is not the season to over-explain your presence. You're not here by mistake. You're not rising by luck. You're rising because God spoke it, and no force in hell could stop what heaven already decided. The world is about to witness what it looks like when someone truly aligned with divine purpose begins to ascend. And that someone is you. You've now reached the edge of what was once unimaginable. There was a time not long ago when even you couldn't fully see this rise. You felt it in your spirit. You dreamed of it at night. You even caught glimpses of it in vision. But now, it's no longer a distant concept. It's forming in front of your very eyes, tangible, real, timed by God Himself. The doors you thought were permanently shut are swinging wide open, not because of anything you're chasing, but because the moment has caught up to your identity. This rise is not random, it's prophetic. Your life has been quietly threaded with instructions from God, pulling you out of cycles that would have kept you small, breaking you free from rooms too narrow for your assignment. At times, it felt like rejection, but in truth, it was redirection. Every delay was strategic. Every loss was permission to gain. God was clearing a sacred space for your rise to unfold without interference. And now, in this divinely cleared atmosphere, your spirit is being called forward. Look around. Nothing looks the same anymore. The people you once leaned on have become silent. The routines that brought you comfort have lost their flavor. That's not confusion, it's confirmation. The old structure cannot contain your new stature. You are becoming too elevated for limitation, too focused for distraction, too called for compromise. This is why the ground beneath your feet is starting to tremble. Because the old dimension is releasing you. It knows you don't belong there anymore.